Hi everyone, Jessica here from Paper Ink Stamp and welcome back to my channel. So today's video we're going to be looking at issue 90 of Die Cutting Essentials. This one's been out a little while now, so I'm not going to flick through it, but I'm going to show you just a commission that I've got in this magazine using some Elizabeth Craft design stamps, which I am going to be doing a video on as well. But we're going to be mainly focusing on using the free gift in today's video, which is called Tropical Frames, and it comes with this lovely pierced frame. You've got some of these hibiscus flowers here with some foliage, and then we do have this scripty hello die as well. I'm going to be creating an A6 card today, and I wanted to do something a little bit colourful, a little bit rainbow, just to have it be nice and bright. I'm actually going to be creating my design straight onto the card base. The card base is made from some 300 GSM cardstock. This is the Crafter's Companion all-purpose card, and this is what I've been using to create these A6 card bases. And so I was planning just to do some ink blending on here, but I ended up spritzing a little bit of water on it as well. The only thing I would say is, obviously, because it's not a watercolour cardstock, I didn't put too much on here, but it has sort of warped slightly, so I have popped it under something heavy. So out of the Distress Oxides to create my rainbow here, we have got Wilted Violet, Festive Berries, Squeezed Lemonade, Twisted Citron and Salty Ocean. And basically what I'm doing is using this frame as a guide to blend this rainbow across the centre of that card front. I don't want it to come too far out from top and bottom, but I am having it hang over slightly on the sides of this frame. So when I bring the frame back in, you'll be able to kind of see where it's sitting. And my idea was then we're going to be die cutting the hibiscus flowers from the same colours, and it's all just going to kind of match quite nicely. So now I've blended it all together, I am just going to spritz this a little bit, and this is where I wish maybe I hadn't done it directly onto the cardstock, onto the card base itself, and used a separate piece of watercolour paper. Just again because it would have held it a little better, but I'm glad that I did spritz it because I do think this looks a lot better like this. It's nice that the colours are just running. I've got my heat tool on low here because I don't want the colours to run into each other too much, but I wanted to get that colour to be kind of moving top to bottom rather than into each other. I'm also just using a paper towel to pick up any extra colour that we've got on there, and then my die pick just to hold this nice and flat. But maybe you can sort of see it is really starting to kind of curl here, and I really love how these colours are kind of blending in together. You do lose a little bit of that yellow, where the yellow is gone more into the green colour, but again I think it's a really pretty blend. So now we've got that finished, I'm going to pop this under something heavy just to help kind of flatten it out. But like I said, I have noticed that even since I finished the card, it is starting to warp again slightly. So then I'm going to take some more cardstock, and so this is just some Neenah Classic Crest cardstock here, just some scraps, and I'm going to do another little bit of ink blending. So all of these pieces, all the dies for the flowers are all connected, so it's just one solid die, and I'm just adding some of this colour because like I said I want it to match in nicely, and so I'm just doing a nice circle big enough for me to be able to die cut. So I'm again just going through all of these, make sure that area is big enough. I do end up having to re-ink my Salty Ocean because I noticed that wasn't taking hardly any colour. So I literally just took the refill for this, and I only buy the refills as and when I need them. I haven't been buying them sort of with the ink pads, and I find that's the best way to do it, because if there's one particular pad that you use a lot more than another, then you're not sort of wasting money on refills maybe that you don't need. So I just put that on there, let it sink in there for a moment, and then just took some of that colour, and it's nice, you can see it now going onto that page a lot better. So I'm going to trim these down, and then I'm going to pop these through my Gemini Mini one at a time, again with the die cuts, and again it's just going to make it match perfectly with the background. So with these flowers, with this particular die, you have got 3 pieces which build up that flower nicely, and then you have the centerpiece on there as well. I'm also, just to get all of my die cutting done at once, going to die cut the Hello sentiment that comes free, and I'm going to do that 3 times from some black cardstock. So again, I'm just going to run that through my die cutting machine, and then later on when we're putting everything together, those can then be stacked one on top of each other, and it just makes it easy if you want a little bit of dimension and more of a sturdy die cut as well. Then it just helps to stack them up, and you're having to sort of fuss with any foam tape and things like that. So I'm going to glue these together so you can see the pieces here. So we've got the 2 petals, we've got this sort of little centre, almost like a spiky piece, and then the longer centre piece as well. So that can all just be layered up. I'm just using my Nuvo Deluxe glue to add these on top of each other, and then I'm using the Crafter's Companion like fine tip bottle just for a finer application. And so I've popped those on top of each other, but I didn't put in that centre piece because I wondered whether to put the centre piece on the one to the left of it, so they were slightly different colours, but to be honest I then didn't really like how that looked, so I did just decide, as you can see I was having a look there, I just decided to keep the same colours together. So again, I'm just adding another blob of glue just in that centre, and then using my jaw pick to pop those on. I will leave links to all of the products in the description box down below if you want to check any of them out. Some of them are going to be affiliate links, which means that I'm going to get a small commission if you do use those links, which would really help to support me being able to create these videos for you. So if you just use those links, the products aren't going to cost you anything more, but like I said, I'll just get a small commission from that sale. So here you can see that I'm just stacking up those Hello die cuts. So again, I'm using that fine tip again, just because it's a really lovely size, you know, but it is better adding that glue with that fine tip. If you don't like using glue, you could use something like double-sided adhesive to put these together, and that will work just as well. So you can see I'm gluing 3 of these on top of each other, and then we can start assembling our card. The other product as well that would be really good for this, if you wanted the dimension, is using the double-sided foam sheets that Creative Craft products sell, because they do a black and a white version as well. I'm not sure I've used the black, so maybe I need to keep that in mind for next time. So the last thing to do for the die cutting is to die cut our frame, and I'm going to do this from some gold mirror card. This is the Hunkydory, and I'm just go through my scraps folder here to find a piece that was big enough for this, and this is too wide to go through my Gemini Mini, so I am popping this through my big Gemini die cutter machine. I do use the junior plates to go through, but just because I find I'm not always needing to die cut something that requires the A4 plates, but I have still got them here. So die cut lovely, and you've got all of that pierced detail on there as well. So I'm just going to poke out the last few ones that are still in there, and then we can bring our card base. So again, I put this under something heavy. This is a really good trick if you get any warping, even if you're doing any heat embossing, things like that, you can pop this under something heavy, and it will help to flatten it out. So again, I'm just going to add some glue to the back of this. You do have a little bit that comes through those holes, but it does dry clear, so I'm not too worried about that. And I'm just going to set this sort of center onto our card base. And again, I really love that look by having spritzed that background. The colours just kind of bleeding in nicely together. And then what I want to do is just place the flowers over the areas where the colour is matching, or the colour was matching, in that rainbow pattern, and then we can pop our hello on there as well. I'm going to add some of these flat, and then some of these we can pop up on a little bit of foam, just to give it a little bit of dimension, because obviously this is quite, even though you've got the die cuts, it is quite one dimensional really, because you know we don't have tons of mats and layers and things in here, but I think it was the yellow and the blue that I propped up onto a foam pad there, again just to add a little bit more depth to it. Once you've done that, then we can just glue on our hello as well. And then to finish this card, I'm going to find some coordinating colours in the Nuvo drops, just for that extra little bit of embellishment. And I really like how this kind of finished off, just because then again I put the Nuvo drops where the colours sort of coordinated. So in terms of the colours that I used, so for the purple I used a crushed grape, the red was red berry, yellow is dandelion yellow, then for the green we had bottle green, and the blue was midnight blue. And again, I'm just putting this sort of top and bottom you know, around these flowers, and I really love how this did sort of finish it off because everything kind of matched in so perfectly. And that is then our card finished using this Tropical Frames die set from Die Cutting Essentials. That's issue 90. If it's still available on the Craft Stash website, I'll leave a link to the magazine in the description box down below, along with all the other products that I've used in this video, as I said. If you did like this video, then please give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so you don't miss out on any future videos. That's it for today. Thanks very much for watching, and happy crafting.